Hello everybody, I understand you all understand English? Yes? If there's anything you're not sure about, then please ask questions as we go along, and you will help efficiently in Italian. I come originally from Norway. My family moved to England because my father got a job with the cross-channel ferries to France. And so I grew up in England and I became interested in art, especially airbrushing, which is
airbrushing, cioè aerografia, cioè il suo interesse principale è stato quello.
And I was very much inspired by the fantasy artists of the time, especially the science fiction painters, and also Roger Dean, who did many covers for the band Yes. Do any of you know these? Yeah, some of you? Okay. Avatar the movie, have you seen that? Yeah? The coloured dragons, that is very much like Roger Dean did back in the 70s, so that's the style he did. And a friend of mine, which I'll show you in a moment, started one of the first computer game companies in England in the early 80s, and that's how I got to start doing covers for the industry. So we'll get going. So I started airbrushing, and these are the machines that I use. This was the Aerograph Super 63. I think this was a British made one. This distinctive cut there where you put the paint. Have any of you done any airbrushing? No. Okay. So the paint goes in there, and then you press down and you pull back to release the ink. And this was quite a big airbrush. If I had to do lots of big areas, I would use this one. These are two Japanese ones that I used, one large, one small. This one is still working today. And this is a little video of me using it. What I'm doing is painting the white, the black, and the green. Masking to protect what you want to shoot that be. So I was just painting the white on the outside. And that's then final. This is a logo I did for the company Quicksilver, which was the first company I made game covers for, and it was my friend Nick Lambert who started it. We knew each other before the game industry, so when he wanted somebody to do the cover, I sent him an example of what I could do, and that's how I got the first job, and this is it for the Quicksilver Defender. And when it was first put with the cassettes, it was a photographic cover with notes on how to do it, and finally they got to printing it, and that's the final outcome. These are more covers for the same company, Quicksilver. Asteroids, Dragon's Bane. I posed for that one, but I don't have the muscles, I had to have them.
Dat you have the glowing orb on a stick.
Oh yeah. That was that one. This was a drummer one. Over the years, the paint, I protected it with film, but it reacted with the paint. And you can see here, the paint has come off. So I've done it again, using a special masking film. It's sticky one side, then you cut out where you want to paint. You can see here, I've taken the parts of the airbrush, because when you have used one colour, you have to clean it all. So you spend a lot of time cleaning the airbrush.
Oh, you can spend a lot of money buying
I know.
many airbrushes.
The one company I did games for, Lund, he was a bit different from most computer companies. You know, he was like a hippie with long hair, and he liked animals. And his name is Jeff Minter, and he is still actually making games today. This was my illustration for his business card, and I like space and moons and planets, so I put him on the moon. One of the games. This is attached for the music panels. And it's intact. This is one of my favourites I did for him, videogame. There's somebody in New York who's trying to make a documentary of the Lamasoft games, and I did a little video myself featuring some of my artwork, so this is a okay. Yes, I'm just going to show some examples of some of the techniques we've been exploring today. Sorry, I'll go back, this comes later. This is an example of how the process when you do something for the client. Obviously you would talk first, then you would do visuals, which are pencil drawings. You would do any photo references of people or whatever. The working drawing would be the full size pencil or pen of the artwork, and you would, if the client says that's okay, you can go ahead. If you went ahead without the okay, then they could say, we didn't say yes, do it again. So these are the pencils for Mega Apocalypse. That was one. This is the one they liked, and there's lots of notes you can see about what I needed to change. Then me again, facing forward. And that's the working drawing. And that's the fun one.
How big is usually a visual pencil visual?
A4 size.
A4 size.
Yeah. The size.
questo punto. How big is the last phase, the working?
They would be between A3 to A2 size.
Okay.
You have to.
So,
The title at the top would normally be done separate. Not always, but mostly. This is another one, Rex. That's an Italian word, isn't it? Or
yes, Latin.
Latin.
Like,
So this was a coloured visual. And then the final one.
and the color visual is smaller, right?
Yeah. Again, about A4.
And how can you be so accurate in having the same proportions to the millimeters? I can see the shift in the two images is very, very, if you go to the next one, always in the right place, like you do a grip, what you do to get the smaller image, and you just go to the...
Yeah, I probably photocopied and then blew it up.
Okay.
When I take photographs today, I always think it's not space.
Just in case, right? So...
So why am I talking about space? This was for James Bond, Live and Let Die. So I did a few logos and also many titles too. This is more like a comic book style. This was for a poster that went with the game. This was called Phantom Fighter. It was another game. This one and the next one are part of the series. This was called Driller, and that's Dark Side. This was for the Star Wars game. And Return of the Jedi. The circumference of the planet at the back is very big, and I think I used a broom to clean the floor.
Okay.
So I can put a knife at the end and go like that to cut the mask. This is another game. This one reminds me a bit of Star Trek. The spaceship at the front is all airbrushed and clean, and the other one is a bit more dirty and all. This was my last game cover, so this was 1996. It's called Space Bucks. And the spaceship at the front, it was actually, somebody helped me do a 3D version in Photoshop and a 3D program. When I did this one, I looked at various other artworks, and if you want the explosion to look good, you need some dark bits as well. See the spaceship. Green stars for looking after the planet. It's the Armageddon Man. It's called Extreme. This one is called Stainless Steel. Some friends posed for that one. I was able to borrow the gun from someone, so we got an authentic looking.
A real gun.
Hmm?
A real gun.
Almost. enough to make it look real. This is Fighting Warrior. This was for an Australian company called Melbourne House. A Viking ship. So this took quite a long time because I drew this ship not from a photograph, but I had to just create it. And the people in it were people who dress up as Vikings. Nowadays that is quite common. This is not those many years ago. This was called Nimitz. And the Hunt for Red October. This was Alcatraz for a French company. The machine gun is a Uzi. And I went to a special place, a gun club, and I was able to actually fire the Uzi. So that was, and it didn't feel like much.
It didn't feel like an airbrush, right?
it was faster than an airbrush. I did quite a few covers for the company Micropose, and they did a lot of military type of games. I did actually contact the company who makes the tank because I wanted authentic references, and they were kind enough to send it to me.
All the secret information about these points and I gave these on the tank.
But they were very efficient. They said, you don't need to thank us.
Without the age, right?
And the same with this company for making the plane one. This F-15. So this is the F-15 to Apache helicopter. More Apache helicopters. This was Gunship 2000. Snooker. And something a bit maybe more European here.
Yeah.
And a Crazy Creature. And so to the Last Ninja. System 3 are still actually a company and making games. From what I understand, the original artwork is nowhere to be found at the moment. So I might have to do another one. So we shall see. And these are the notes on how to go about doing the version of The Last Ninja today. So the top one is literally making little dots, stippling it, it's known as in English, or pointillism perhaps. The second one on the top is cross-hatching, so make lines, and then the other way. The bottom one, you can maybe just do what you like and see how it works. So we're thinking of doing a little practice of that so you can might work best for you. So this is the image you've got in front of you. This is printed from the original Ninja. And then I've done it, and I would start by doing all these lines and the dots to get the basic shape. And then I added all the back. I'll add some more, and then that's the full one. And you've got the cards here, so you've got a reference. Because I find when I added the pen, it was not so easy to see the background image, so that's why it's good to have some reference. And we've got a little cartoon ninja as well, which I've got here. So depending how you get on today, you can also have a go with this. If there's no time, there's copies you can take away and have a play with it if you wish. And there we are.
Okay. Thank you so
Okay.
much.